Welcome to our intro episode for Odd Pairing. I am your co-host, Natasha, and I'm with my lovely co-host, Paige, and we are the odd pair.
We are.
Yeah, so let's cheers.
Here you are.
Cheers. To us. You have to drink when you cheers, and I heard that you're supposed to look each other in the eye.
Yeah.
When you do it.
I like doing that. Awkward eye contact.
It is very awkward to have that kind of fucking eye contact. Staring in someone's eyes like,
I'm watching you.
Yeah, I don't trust you around my drink. That's the kind of eye contact that I'm giving is I don't trust you around my drink.
Yeah.
So since this is our intro episode and we kind of just letting people know like who we are, let's talk about like why we're an odd pair.
Let's do it.
So we're an odd pair, obviously, for the ones who can see us. Like if you are blind, let me explain to you that I am Black. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am. And Paige is white. And that is, for one, makes us the odd pair. And we have different drinking taste.
We sure do.
Because our podcast is about drinking. And just kind of the culture around drinking.
Yep.
So I'm more of a wine connoisseur. And
definitely know more than me.
Yep. Yeah, and for you, you kind of
more in the
along.
Beer world.
Right.
Craft beer world.
Yeah, so that's what makes our pairing a little bit odd is because of that, the different taste. And we're trying to blend them together in terms of I'm trying to get you more into like the wine area and then other spirits as well, because we're going to talk about other spirits.
Dabble in spirits.
Yeah. And then you're trying to get me into more of the beer, which I have been appalled by.
I was going to say avoiding.
Very much. Very, like the plague, I have been avoiding beer all my life. But I think that what we're going to be doing with this particular podcast, like our content, is going to be talking about more of drinking. Not just drinking, like we're not just gonna, it's just not gonna be a good time. Right. But we're also gonna be talking about like why alcohol has such an impact on the community, different cultures. Yep. Yeah. And just kind of talking about that. And what are like your feelings about us being an odd pair? What does that mean for you?
Well, I think it means that we come from different backgrounds, different, completely different backgrounds. Yeah. And so those backgrounds have a big impact on who we are today and how we experience the world and how we experience drinking and food and culture and all of that. And there are overlaps and there are differences, and it's fun to explore what those are. And so that's kind of my objective with the podcast is like to do that together with everyone. Yeah. So, and then we're going to have guests who come from different companies and backgrounds. And we're going to have people who literally are crafters and they, brew, and we got people who grow and, do all of these things in terms of like making wines. Restaurateurs, academics, just trying to get a lot of different types of people and their perspectives and their influence in adult beverages and just have interesting conversations because it's such an old tradition, Very old. Yeah. Yeah, which you guys will hear later on. We'll kind of talk about like how old this tradition has gone about. So let's kind of bring the people in terms of how this idea even came about and why we decided that we was going to like pull a trigger on this thing. Yeah. Tell the people how our idea came about. So we were introduced through a mutual friend and we were through networking events. And so we decided to become friends through that. Yep. And we were drinking and eating and learning about each other. And I think those conversations really just sparked the idea of like, hey, this could be something more. Yep. I think people would be really interested in hearing and being a part of the conversations that we have. And we want to learn more about each other and learn more about the industry and the pairings and food and restaurants and all that sort of stuff. So instead of us just kind of doing it solo on our own, we thought it would be more fun doing it this way. Yeah, yeah. And I think that those, like that connection
around drinking pretty much talks about like what we're, what our whole content process is going to be about in terms of this podcast. And I want people to understand that we are not experts at this, but we're hoping to become more knowledgeable in these different realms. Yeah, like I know a lot about wine, but you don't see me in the kitchen trying to make one.
I'm not a brewer or a winemaker or an expert, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy it and want to learn more.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we really are trying to do is like explore these things that are a big part of our culture and society and community and has a big impact.
Yeah. And we want people who are, I don't want to say that you have to be like an advanced drinker, super experienced drinker. But if you're thinking about different like alcohols to try, we hope that we can be that gateway in trying those things. Yeah. Because we'll tell you what we're tasting, what we're smelling, and kind of giving like a background of why these companies began the way they began, because everyone's going to have a different story.
Right.
And we kind of want to bring those stories.
Staying curious.
Exactly.
Trying to learn more. I mean, the art of, alcohol it's a craft. And so there's a lot that goes into it. And these people have really wonderful stories as to like what inspired them to start the business or it could be a long family history or it could be a passion project or also they're just fun stories to hear. And when you feel like you know about what you're drinking or consuming, like it's that's a great part of the experience.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that. Like I feel like, insider information and you're like, oh, I can bring this along and have it connect with somebody else because I have this information. And so, they're crafters. It's an art. There's all sorts of reasons why they got into it, and it's fun to know what they are.
Yeah, exactly. So not only, guys, are we going to be bringing you this content, but we also want to tell you why we think that we're qualified. Why we think we're qualified.
Well, I mean, we
to
have
be
good
able
taste.
to do this. And that's my main point, is that like for me, I have more of like this good taste for different, like, not only just wines, because that's going to be my main focus, right?
Yeah.
But also like these other like spirits that I've gotten into and like tried to like go into whiskey festivals and, tequila festivals, which became my favorite. I know a lot of people out there don't really like tequila, like to drink on ice. But
I'm one of those people.
That's like a new thing for me.
Yeah, but I also haven't learned much about it and like trying to figure out like what's, besides just that initial taste, like I haven't really delved into it. And I'm sure it's a very complicated, layered
of course it
beverage. And I don't know what that is. And so I haven't really learned how to appreciate it in the way that I've taken the time to learn about craft beer and understand why different things in beer taste good to me, or, styles, all sorts of stuff. So that's an opportunity.
Yeah. And I think that's the same kind of approach I'm coming with the beer. Because there's so many different layers to it, so many different kinds. And I'm just like, I'm excited about finding that one.
Yeah.
That one that I can go in when everybody else is drinking beer and I'm like, yep, give me this. I got this,
I'm knowledgeable.
Like, yeah. Like, did you guys taste a little hint of fruit in this particular beer? Like, that's how
and I hope you say it like that.
And I want people to be annoyed, like how much knowledge I have about like beer, So I think that's the reason why, kind of going back to why we're qualified, because we first have like this taste for it, and we've been, without revealing how long we've been drinking for a while, and we realize like once the older you are in drinking, then the more you realize like the stuff that you were drinking when you were in college or very younger is changed. Way different.
Now I can't drink it at all.
Exactly. Especially if you like threw up on it or any of those like type of, it made you sick or those type of things. So when you think about or smell or someone mentions the name of that particular alcohol, you're like, nope, I can't do it.
Right. I have a few of those. Not a few, just a couple.
Right. And speaking of that, let's, so one thing that we're going to be doing in each episode, some episodes, we're going to be talking about our favorite drinking stories. So Paige and I are going to talk about ours right now so we can kind of get it out the way, and we won't impede on our guests of like, well, here's my drinking story. We want them to be focused on their drinking story and that. And if they want to, they can come back and listen to this episode and figure out, oh, okay, that was their drinking story. So we want to tell you guys ours. So for myself, should I go first or you go first?
Yeah, because I still don't know what I'm going to share.
What you can share that's legal.
Right. I'm like, well, who's listening? And
I don't, you know what, matter of fact, find me if that's the case. So for myself, it's a great drinking story, but at the same time, like it was very naughty for us to do this. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I lived in Japan. So in Japan, the drinking age is 20. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I was in a whole different
your story with that.
Whole different country. Just because I was an American don't mean that's not the way that goes. So I was in the Navy at the time, and we had pulled into Thailand. And I think it was Phuket of where we pulled into. And I remember, because we were technically underage to board a U.S. vessel, we still had to be 21, even though the country, I think Thailand was 18, actually.
Okay.
And most of us were, being naughty, if you will. We were like, it's 20 in Japan, so we're going to drink at 20,
Of course.
Of course we were. I mean, younger military people, we're like, in our mind, we can drink, whatever. We don't care what the U.S. says. So at the time we were in Thailand, I think we were celebrating someone's birthday. And what we used to do is we would drink and then straighten up to board the ship because they were checking for people coming on drunk, underage. Okay. And because the ship was kind of small, even though we were amphib, so I would say it would hold maybe like 300 people. So that's still like a small, you still knew everyone on the ship, right?
Okay, yeah.
So with that, we would kind of straighten up because they knew we were underage, and we would try to board. Now, what was crazy about it is that to describe the boarding process, if you ever been on a cruise ship, you know that there's this long rail that goes from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, yeah.
So that rail is extra long on a U.S. vessel because it's up, so it's steeper.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds trying to board this U.S. vessel drunk, but also trying to appear not drunk.
Oh, gosh.
And that's exactly how we were. Like, and it's already wobbling because the ship is wobbling. The waters are unstable.
Water. Yeah.
And we're like trying to board. And then you have to salute when you come on. So everybody's salute is already like this. So we was like, let's play into like the rocking of the ship. So we're like
really wobble.
Really.
Oh, my God.
Like wobbling and then trying to give it that salute as we try to come on. So we would play that game all the way until we became 21.
And no one ever caught you?
No one ever caught us.
Oh.
It was the wildest thing. So when people would think that because we were wild, because we were younger, of course, we wouldn't drink it. So we would act our normal selves when we were sober. But how you knew we were drunk, we was the quietest people you had ever seen.
Something's wrong with them. They're not talking.
Something's happening. Because they're usually coming on here turned. And right now, they're not turned up. So, that's my drinking story. It's kind of like a drinking year.
Yeah.
Because we did that for like a full year like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we all did it that were in my age group during that time. So what about you? What's your drinking story?
Well, I think we're going to find out that you're a much better storyteller than I am. Way more detailed.
Yeah.
That's an art. That's a craft. I guess I will share stories like yours. I kind of my sophomore year of college, went to San Diego State, and drinking games are pretty big in college.
Oh yeah,
right. So like beer pong and King's Cup and all of those types of things.
Yeah.
So we would have parties at our apartment or our friends' apartments, house parties, those sort of things. And those games always showed up. And I would be asked to play. And so I would play on one condition because I didn't drink beer back then, like at all.
Twist.
Because it was just like natty light, like just the hangover, bad for your brain. Like if you drink that much. And so I just never really liked it. And so my condition was that I would play those games if I didn't have to drink the alcohol. So I would say like, well, I'm still going to drink my cocktail, which was probably like Dole pineapple juice and like, Malibu rum or something, which is like just as bad of a hangover, right? Like it's all sugar.
Right.
But my metabolism was much better then. Because definitely can't drink that now. But so I'm like, I'll play. Yeah. And if I sink it, then you have to drink the beer that's in there. But if you sink it on our side or whatever, you still have to drink this cup, but I'll take a sip of my drink.
So if they played with you, they were double drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, they did that. And then same thing with King's Cup. So King's Cup is, well, I don't really remember exactly all the details, but it's like where you have, is it like poker or something?
I don't know. I never played King's Cup. I didn't even know that was a game.
It's basically, you have this giant cup in the center and if you get a king or something like that, everybody pours a little bit into the drink. Yeah. And everyone's drinking different things. And so the end of the game, it's basically like a suicide drink of what everyone's drink. And I was like, I will never play that game. They're like, play. So I'm like, I'll play as long as I never have to drink that. Yeah. I'll contribute my pineapple juice in Malibu to the concoction, but I'll never drink it. So some serious gross, and people would do it. It's wild.
It is. I wonder if they're still doing that with COVID.
I should figure out what the King's Cup is.
If they're still doing that with COVID going around.
I hope not. I mean, it's just gross. I mean, you're not all drinking out of the same cup. You're just, well, I guess you are pouring. You're right.
Yeah. But think about the evolution.
Yeah.
In terms of the adulting and drinking.
Yeah.
Like doing that at college, I probably would have played the game. Like back in my younger days.
Oh, like, this is fun, exciting.
It's a concoction of bullshit. Let me drink it.
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
Now I'm just picky. Like, nope.
Yeah.
There is no reason I need to drink something like that.
Same.
Ever.
Same. So also in our podcast, we're going to have drinks. Mm-hmm. And we're always going to be drinking on here responsibly.
Yes.
Okay.
Through curiosity.
Exactly. Put that in. Let the people know. Okay. So what do we have today that you brung?
Today I brought a hard seltzer from Coronado Brewing Company. They're based here in San Diego and have been around for quite some time. One of the pioneers to the craft beer industry. And when seltzer started really picking up a few years ago, they leaned into that and did a very crafty twist of using, real fruit instead of artificial fruit flavors. So this one that I brought today is Strawberry Lemonade. And
it's great.
It is very easy to drink. It's very light. It's great summer beverage.
Yeah, and it has a little hint of juice in there. So that's what makes it good and not just a regular like seltzer.
Right. Well, yeah, I think with
a hard seltzer.
You can really taste like artificial flavoring. There's a metallic component to it. And when you drink a seltzer or any, beverage that basically doesn't have artificial flavor, you can tell that it's real juice or real puree or something. And so I really liked that, the craft breweries that got involved with seltzers or started like dabbling in seltzers, really leaned into that craft-centric part of making it and figured out how to make it with real juice so that it, tastes really juicy instead of very artificial.
Right. This is my Netflix drink. That's a good drink to have.
Like pool drink.
Oh, it is a pool drink.
Pool drink.
Yeah. So what is this other one?
Well, this one's going to be an experiment for both of us because
I'm intrigued by the sizing of this
cute little bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, someone who works in my office, her name is Nani. She is a fan of Mead, and my only experience with Mead is maybe 10 to 12 years ago. I worked at a farm to table restaurant, and they had like an avocado flower mead and an orange blossom mead. And sometimes people would order it and then we'd try it after work. And I was always just like, because it's a honey wine, so it's super sweet.
Good
and
God.
That was a while ago. And I don't think I've had it since because it was really sweet for me.
Okay.
And so sometimes when we're sitting around the office and talking about what we're doing after work or our weekends or whatever, she's talked about how she's gone to this meadery and how good the mead is. And she's like, you have to try it. And so very thoughtful. She brought me a mead taster with, it's called Grapefruit Crush, and it's 8.5%. And she said that it is supposed to be kind of reminiscent of like an IPA. So it should have some like real citrus flavors in it.
Okay.
That should come through. So I held on to it so that we could try it together since we're both curious about trying new things and learning more about beverages that we don't drink.
Who gave us this?
Her name is Nani.
Thank you, Nani.
Nani. Yeah.
Well, let me hold my thanks for when I tasted Nani.
Okay. Well, yeah. But I mean, adorable bottle.
Yeah, it's really cute.
With your glass.
And to understand that they're called a meadery, that I did not know. When you said that it was mixed with honey, I thought it would have been a little thicker.
Me too, actually, from my experience from 12 years ago, or maybe not experience, but memory. I felt like it was super thick before. You want to cheers this one too?
Yeah, cheers.
There you go. Okay, so you definitely, did you smell it first?
Yeah.
It
smells like a beer.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It smells super citrusy. You get a lot of hop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You smell it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really smell it.
Really smell it. No, it's good. It's good, strong smell. And then I'll give it a taste.
I will say that you guys kind of psyched me out because I was expecting this to be super sweet, but this is
not
bit
sweet at all.
Not sweet at all. I think that this is why.
Surprisingly different, and she's going to be so excited to hear that because I think.
And I actually like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you, Nani. Now I can really say thank you.
Yeah.
Because that is good. That's a great one. So she nailed it.
She was right.
She nailed it.
She was right.
That was a great one.
That was really
and we had our
thoughtful.
hard seltzer, so that was good too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll be tasting things on air, and thank you guys for tuning in. And I hope that you come back in 2 weeks and listen to us babble on again.
Yeah,
for our
with some guests and
No, actually, this one is coming in 2 days. The next episode is coming 2 days later.
Never mind.
So listen to
sooner than we thought.
Exactly. So thank you guys for listening, and we will be in your ear next time. Thanks for listening and watching Odd Pairing. So please subscribe, like, rate,
and comment with your favorite drinking stories and curiosities about adult beverages.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm going to happy hour. Who's driving?
I'm going to walk.